Hello, nice to be with you. So I hope you're well, and thank you for making the time for yourself and for gathering with the Sangha in practice. It's supportive for you, and it's supportive for all of us when we can connect in this way. It really makes me appreciate all the more every time I join with people online. It makes me appreciate all the more how supportive it is to know that others are making the space in their lives, in their hearts, in their minds to um, to be together in meditation. It's a beautiful thing. So good to be with you. So I was reflecting a little bit as I thought about what I might share, um, and two qualities of heart and mind kind of came into my thoughts, and both of them are one of the parami, the perfections of the heart that are taught in Buddhism, and are taught to be qualities that the Buddha perfected in previous lifetimes. So virtues, uh, beautiful qualities that he perfected kind of on the way to becoming the Buddha, to becoming the Bodhisattva that came to full and final awakening. So it's they're good kind of pointers for us to develop this accumulation of goodness in our being. So patience. In a way, as I thought about patience and kindness, I think that they are there's an overlap between them. That we certainly need to be patient with ourselves, which is a kind of kindness. And when we are kind toward others, it often involves patience and acceptance about ways of being, or ways of relating that maybe are difficult to be with, and come out of fear, or wanting something to be different than how it is. So patience. Just to reflect a little bit on what patience is and isn't. So patience is not kind of gritting our teeth and enduring, and just okay, this will be over eventually, and kind of, the whole body is kind of stiff and tense, and so that's not, that doesn't have the quality of patience, and patience also doesn't have the quality of resignation. So resignation is, oh well, okay, it's how it is, and it sucks, but it's it's just how it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. So that's a kind of a numbing of the heart and mind. So patience is something that is more alive, more open, more intelligent. Patience is recognizing the discomfort, recognizing the difficulty that this is. It's not just kind kind of, waiting for the unpleasantness to be over, but it's recognizing that, yes, this is not my preference. And so what's coming up in me, and taking interest. Patience, when we're patient, we can see any moment as an opportunity to turn toward our experience, to be fully present, and to be with it, to bear it with some degree of tranquility, serenity, even interest, and equanimity, possibly equanimity. Equanimity kind of pointing to a quality of balance of mind, that we're not getting just hooked or caught up or spinning out in our preferences, or in what if or if only kind of thinking. So patience, the Buddha said that patience is one of the best contemplations, and I can't remember who what teachers, but anyway, it's a teaching I've heard more than once, that patience is pretty underrated. Like, we don't have a lot of value for patience in our culture, do we? It's like, if the line is in the supermarket, or these days outside the supermarket or the grocery store or pharmacy, wherever we're going, is extending out, and now of course it's spaced out, so it can extend out pretty far if you want to mail a package or something, and you're going into the pharmacy, post office. Maybe we're all settling down a little bit, but certainly culturally, we're conditioned to be, looking at our clocks and our watches, or phones. How long have I been waiting on this line? Could be doing something else. So patience is, in this do mentality that we have been all caught up in. Patience is pretty underrated. So, I wonder if that's changing. I wonder if it's changing that certainly people that I'm talking to, a lot of them are commenting how it's actually really a relief to have a bit more space. I know that some people are feeling anxious because of financial stresses, perhaps, or people in your lives who are sick or exposed. So it may be hard to relax into that space of having more solitude, less running around. So maybe, but many people that I'm talking to, and myself as well, I'm really experiencing a valuing of having a bit more space, less drivenness. I still have things to do, but not that I was driven, but busy. I was busy, and so there was a certain pace. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. A certain pace of life that was more than I wanted, really. So can we it's a bit deviating from patience, but just recognizing that we have lived a very fast-paced way of life, most of us anyway, and so cultivating this patience. Patience, also part of what we need to be patient with, is the uncertainty, the unknowing, the unknowableness of how is this going to be unfolding, how is this going to be developing, and we may read the numbers online or listen to the premier or the prime minister's daily briefing, or whatever we do to kind of keep apprised of the unfolding of the pandemic. But patient with the not knowing, and patient with the continuing of the request and the requirement to shelter in place and to stay inside as much as possible. So how are we relating to that? And so bringing that quality of patience, a quality which is, there's a grace, a graceful quality to that. It's that between resignation, endurance, impatience, which is kind of that frustration and just when will this end, and exasperation and so on. So just relaxing and opening and taking each moment as it comes. And then the kindness is another really beautiful quality that is, I think, really, really important. Being really sensitive and gentle with those, perhaps you're sharing space with people, and I find that that it's helping me to be even more mindful of my speech, my actions, what I'm considering, how I'm responding to my partner, and also to the people that I'm in contact with, my colleagues at True North Insight, and other people that I'm in contact with, my family, of course, and other friends that I'm in contact with electronically. So kindness, kind of recognizing that they may be experiencing difficulty. They may be experiencing want, deprivation, frustration. My mother lives in New York City, and she's 95, and she lives in an apartment building. It's for independent seniors. No, it's not assisted living. But she's living next door. Her next door neighbor is immune compromised, and they've been having dinner together every night. So she's not going out at all. Even she wakes up early in the morning, and she kind of figures she could go out at 5 in the morning. She'd have to take the elevator because she lives on the 13th floor. So that's the big obstacle for her, because you don't want to run into somebody in the elevator. They're small elevators, but she figures at 5 in the morning she'd probably be okay. She's a very early riser, but she wants to really be careful for her next door neighbor, apartment next door, and so she's just not, and she's a person who really loves to walk. She's in good health, and she loves to walk, and so that kindness, that consideration, that thinking of the needs and well-being of others. I don't know if you can hear the sound of kids playing. Maybe it's coming onto the YouTube transmission, but we have kids next door who have a trampoline, and they great big trampoline. It must be, I don't know, 15, 18 feet diameter, and so that's really a great thing for them to bounce around on that, because otherwise they'd be bouncing off the walls. So yeah, so that's that sound. If you're hearing like high-pitched sounds or whatever, it's the sound of children playing, which is really lovely. Yeah, so kindness, is that heart of goodwill, that heart of wishing others well, and caring for others. So at times that can feel, if we can get caught up in, somehow thinking that, we can change things, or somehow taking on the worry, the anxiety for the enormity of this pandemic. So caring can feel heavy, and that's actually a pitfall when we practice kindness. Just as patience is a cultivation of the heart, and there are things that we may think are patience that actually are not, and we may think that there are things that are kindness that actually are not. And so anxiety and worry about others is not actually kindness, and pity, and is not actually kindness. Feeling, oh, I'm so sad for those people, and getting into, the heart just gets weighed down, and so it's not, and I'm not saying that with even an iota of blame or judgment about that, because, as I've said in other talks, we are feeling the collective grief. We are feeling the collective anxiety. We are feeling as a collective being, where there's a way in which we are individuals, and there's another way that is very true, that we are a collectivity, that we're connected, we're joined together. And when something like this happens, we may feel the grief and the loss of our human family that we're part of. And we may feel this not only with regard to the pandemic, but also with regard to the climate emergency. So it's certainly not wrong, or to be in any way judged if we begin to feel burdened, and just to point out that the practice of kindness and the practice of compassion, which is a beautiful and skillful practice, is a way in which we balance wisdom with this heart which is open and loving and kind, and the wisdom of knowing, the wisdom of equanimity, of knowing that things are as they are, and and we can respond wisely and skillfully, and we can't change just like that, just by wanting to, how things are unfolding. We can do our part. We can respond and we can do our part. And I've also been thinking a lot about that. That maybe is for another talk, but about how the meaning of wise action, karma, skillful response, how we can really learn about that in this time of what does it mean to respond skillfully and wisely, and at the same time recognize that we're part of something which is so big, and um, and maintain our balance in that, our equipoise, which is a word which is sometimes used interchangeably with equanimity. It has a slightly different sense. I think I'm going to get up just before we begin to meditate. I'll guide us into a sitting, and I'm going to close the window, so maybe the sounds will be a little bit less for our sitting. So let's take a seat for meditation practice. So you might change, if you're looking at the screen, you might change your relationship to the screen. You might sit away from the screen. Just take a seat which is supportive to your practice, whether it's sitting on the floor or a chair, or if you wish, lying down is also fine. So collect your attention into the body. Feel the posture of the body. Feel the support of the earth beneath you. And relax the whole body to that support. And at the same time, lifting the spine and feeling an upward energy in the spine, from the base of the spine through the crown of the head. And as we lift the crown of the head, the chin tucks in slightly so that the base of the skull is lifted and the shoulders are down and back. So the back is straight but not stiff, not tight. Notice if there's any tension in the body. Just feel into the body and notice if there's tension, I'll guide a brief scan. So beginning with the face and the skull and the temples, the sides of the neck, the throat. Just feeling that whole area of the body and noticing if there's any tension. The jaw, the eyes, the throat. And feeling the shoulders, and the chest, the upper chest, and the upper back. And feeling around the heart and the shoulder blades and the solar plexus. So as we just bring mindful attention to these places in a very natural way, it tends to relax because the quality of mindfulness is non-holding, non-grasping. And so the holding, the tension that is there just tends to relax, maybe not 100%, but a little bit. And so just allowing the mindfulness to bring a relaxation to the upper body. And if you feel so inclined, you can take a deep breath and release, let go. And feeling the midriff and the lower abdomen, lower back, the buttocks and hips and groin. So the whole lower trunk of the body. And noticing if there's any places of tension. And just relaxing the whole trunk of the body and the head, the neck. And also bringing attention to the arms and the hands. And the legs and the feet. Relaxing the whole body. And as we do this kind of body scan, we are bringing mindfulness into the body. We are being mindful in the body. which is a wonderful practice, not only for sitting meditation, but for our daily lives. Coming home to the body gives us the tools, the capacity to recognize when we are reacting, when we're contracting around something, when we're resisting, when we're getting caught up in fear or frustration or grief or wanting. And just in the same way that we could be with the tension in the body and just bring mindfulness to it. And just by being present with it, it releases it or gives it space to release. In the same way, when we can be present with the mental states that arise, the reactivity, the habit patterns, instead of getting caught up in them, we can give them space to let go, to release. And so being present in the body for every moment, every waking moment. Let's take a couple of moments, a couple of minutes, before I offer any further guidance, to just be present in the whole body. Feeling the whole body. Abiding in the body. So notice as you rest your awareness in the body, if you're narrowing your attention to a particular place. Maybe you're focusing on the breath. Or maybe you're focusing on a particular place of contact with the cushion or chair, or feeling your hands on your knees or your thighs. So that's fine, and that's a good way to feel the body. And I'd like to invite you to explore, if you would like, opening up your attention to fill the body, with mindfulness, to fill the body with bright attention, as the Buddha said in the discourse on mindfulness in the body. So keep stretching your attention, stretching out your awareness to fill the whole body. And maybe notice where the body is more kind of in shadow, or you're not kind of aware of the body. Maybe you're more aware of the upper part of the body, and your lower part of the body is out of your sphere of attention and your awareness. So open up your attention and see if you can bring the whole body into this mindful sphere of awareness, filling the whole body with mindful attention, with bright attention. This attention might be experienced as a sensation, different sensations, rising and passing. It might also be experienced as a kind of a resting. There might be a quality of light, and resting in a field of light, a field of presence. How do you experience resting in the whole body awareness? It's not that it's one right way. It's what is that for you, and how do you experience it? Discover what it means for you. Let's take a few more minutes in silence to discover that. And in the last couple of minutes of the sitting, I invite you to notice where in the body there are pleasant sensations, sensations the wrong word, feelings, pleasant feelings of ease, of perhaps joy, contentment, and even inviting these feelings, inviting ease, inviting calmness, tranquility, contentment, joy. Simply the simple joy of just being present in this moment without getting pulled out, even if it's just for a breath or half a breath, without getting pulled out into some pattern of thought or reactivity. Just appreciating this. And this is not appreciating the good that arises in our practice, is not grasping. The Buddha specifically instructed that this is skillful, and this helps us to cultivate more of these nourishing, beautiful qualities and feelings in meditation. The joy, the calmness, the ease, well-being that we experience in meditation is very much a part of our practice and nourishes our practice. So we just notice how and where this arises for you, if it does. And may the goodness, the blessings of our practice serve the happiness, well-being, safety, and liberation of all beings everywhere. Thank you for your practice. So we have a few more minutes. If you have anything that you'd like to, oh, hi, Jim. Nice to see you. Not see you, but hear from you. So if you have anything that you'd like to share, whether it's a question or an experience that came up for you in meditation, so I'm just going to give you a minute to write anything you want. And while that may be coming forward, I just want to mention that on Sunday, this Sunday, there is a regular YouTube presentation on for the Sunday Sangha, which is from 10:30 to 11:30, and then following that, there will be a Zoom community meeting. So a Zoom Sangha meeting, which will be open to anyone who's interested. So it will, yeah, I just checking the spelling. It will not be recorded. And it's an opportunity. I find this format so limiting because for me, in my teaching, my weekly sits, the Sunday sits, and also in my retreat teaching, I just find that the Sangha, that it's the body. It's not just this, head, which is being, head and shoulders, which is being broadcast on YouTube. It feels so artificial, and so I would like to invite anybody who's interested to join the Zoom meeting, and if you send me an email via my website, which I just posted on the live chat, just and saying that you'd like the Zoom link, then I'll send it to you. So there'll be a link and there's a password. So we don't want any Zoom bombings on our Zoom meeting. So taking some precautions. Hi, Sess. Nice to see you there. Yeah, does anybody have anything that you'd like to bring up as a question about patience, about okay. So this is hi, Theo. Yeah, this is my other regular time that I've so the True North Insight teachers are trying to keep a regular offering of teachings throughout the week. So 3:00 Friday is my other regular time aside from Sunday. So yeah. Oh. So hi, Helena. Well, it's okay. You can. This time is, you see, this mystery of time. Helena's just saying that she got the hour. She joined an hour late, but this time, the fluidity and plasticity of time through YouTube videos becomes manifest, because we can join in at any time, and so it's not too late to join the YouTube meeting. Yeah. So so patience. I talked in the beginning, for those who came in a little bit late, I talked in the beginning of the session about patience and kindness. And so I think that, for me, I'm really kind of feeling, like this every year around this time. I think we all, we Northerners, feel this restlessness, waiting for spring, right? We're seeing every day the buds on the trees get a little bit kind of more swollen, ready to pop open. So the hyacinth in the front of my house have completely opened, and yet, when I went out today to walk the dog, I saw some little snowflakes fluttering down. And so so patience is something that we know. And so appreciating the goodness of the day, the life that we have, not getting stuck in resistance, in struggle. So Helena asked for a reading, and there is a very, very wonderful book that's available on the internet, called so I'll write it, Parami, and it's by Ajahn Suchito. So the parami, as I was mentioning before, are beautiful qualities of heart. So in some systems there are 10, in some there are 8. But I mentioned that loving kindness or kindness and patience are 2 of these qualities. And Ajahn Suchito is a very wonderful teacher, a very embodied, and just very embodied in the way that he teaches. He's a monk in the Thai forest tradition. And so these are monks that went and practiced with Ajahn Chah in Thailand, and then went to England and to the United States. Ajahn Sumedho is one of the most well-known of these monks. And so they are a very, I believe Ajahn Thanissaro is also in that same tradition. And so, these are very well established. This is a very well established monastic order. And there is also an order of nuns that is, and there's in Canada, there's a monastery called Tisarana, and I'm forgetting the Pali name for the order of nuns. But there's also near Perth, so just outside Perth. So this writing, this PDF format ebook is offered. You can just Google it, and you can find it, I'm sure, quite easily. And it's a very profound book. Actually, I used it for a 1.5-year long course that that I've been teaching and is just coming to an end next month. And we've been working with those teachings, and they are really a deeply heart-opening and deeply wise. And you might think that being a monk, Ajahn Suchito might not be in touch with the realities of daily life, but he did grow up. He wasn't somebody who grew up, you know, kind of went. Sometimes in ethnically Buddhist countries, people go at a very young age into a monastic order, but he's a Brit who went into the order as he was a young man, and he had lived his life and entered into monastic life, and he also has many friends and many connections. He really deeply understands what it's like to live in the world. Maybe not so much what it's like to have children. I think sometimes I think, oh, well, you don't really understand what that's all about. But for the vastly for the most part, now I find him deeply grounded and aware of the realities of living in the world. Sati Saraniya, thank you, Jim. Yeah, the nuns' monastery. Yeah, Sati Saraniya. So we've come to the end of our time together, and I'm really grateful that we were able to spend this time together, and even if it's not together in the same contemporaneous moment, we're together, even if you listen to this 12 hours or a day later or a month later, we're still together in this practice. The mystery of joining in practice within this Sangha is very beautiful. So be well, and I send you my love and my goodwill and wishes for your well-being, for you and for all of those around you in winding circles, until we are together again.